Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to teach you a concept that I've used with great success on my private students. It's the concept that I've named good bananas and bad bananas. It just kind of stuck, and so that's my name for it. What's a banana shaped like? It's shaped in an arc. And there's a good arc on violin and there's a bad arc on violin. This concept will help you, or help you to help a student, to play with straight bow. This exercise or this concept can help the student internally feel what a straight bow should feel like, what flexible wrist feels like, and why we do it. This concept will help you to maintain control and straight bow on big bows. It will help you with spiccato, with détaché. It'll help you clean up messy sounding playing, and it helps you to maintain your sounding point. Basically, it's good for general overall bow control. It's a wonderful concept and it's easy to grasp. So let me just tell you why I call it bananas. Because a good banana will draw a smiley face on your violin, and a bad banana will draw a frowny face on your violin. Let me demonstrate. First of all, we'll start with bad banana. So you've all seen this before. We all know that's wrong, but let's look at what I'm drawing. Do you see me drawing the frowny face on the violin? So that's an example of a bad banana. This is an example of a good banana. Okay, now bear with me. You're saying, yeah, but the good banana has a crooked bow too. Yes, it does, but I'm exaggerating. And if you'll keep that smiley face or that good banana in mind when you're trying to work on straight bow or clean playing or détaché or spiccato, keeping that arc in mind with a smiley face will help you. Now, the way to work on this and to internalize it is to start with big bows. You start with big bows and you kind of exaggerate. Use a mirror and observe your wrist as you're making these good bananas. Observe what happens to the wrist at the tip. See my wrist? See how it's bent? Now let's go to the frog. And I'm gonna make an exaggerated good banana. Now the wrist is the complete opposite shape. I went from that shape to that shape. Now let's pay attention to what happens to the tip of our bow. The tip of the bow at the frog is slightly favoring the scroll, as opposed to a bad banana, which would be favoring the back of my head. Okay, so the tip at the frog is near the scroll. And at the tip, it's the opposite. Now it's favoring my head. Okay, so to make that less confusing, I like to say on the down bow, send your frog towards the scroll. See how the frog is favoring the scroll? On the up bow, send the tip toward the scroll. Okay, so start with big bows and just exaggerate that motion. Watch the frog going towards the scroll and watch the tip going towards the scroll. Then change your focus to your wrist and watch what happens to your wrist when it reaches the tip, and what happens to your wrist when you hit the frog. Okay? Then you might want to keep looking in the mirror, and instead of exaggerating your good banana, you're going to do a nice, perfect straight bow, but you are going to feel the arc of the good banana still there. I'm totally pushing out towards the scroll, but my bow is pretty darn straight. and the tip is slightly going towards the scroll, and it feels really controlled. So that's when you're not exaggerating the banana, but you still feel that little smiley face, and you still feel that out in motion with your wrist and with your sending the frog to the scroll, sending the tip to the scroll. Okay, so then what you do, you start with great big bows, then start going to smaller and smaller bows. And you can practice this on just open strings if you want to. In fact, I'd recommend that, because then your focus doesn't have to be anywhere except on your bow, your straightness, your banana, and your sounding point. So instead of doing whole bows, maybe do the middle 2/3. And you can still feel the arc. It's smaller because you're using less bow. Then use just the middle half, but still continue to feel that arc. And the wrist motion is still there. Look at my wrist. Go smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, why am I asking you to go to smaller and smaller bows? Because students often have the problem of not having a good banana when they're doing spiccato. And so it's tight, it's spastic, it's out of control. They don't have good speed control. And their tip, look at my tip of my bow. It's going all over the place. If you will learn to do little tiny, what I call micro bananas. If you'll learn to do those little micro bananas in tiny bow strokes, it can really fix a faulty spiccato. For the most stubborn spiccatos that I've helped students fix, the micro bananas is the concept they were missing. They have a stiff wrist, they have a stiff pinky, and therefore everything else going up the arm is stiff. But once they learn to do little micro bananas, oh, their wrist is so happy. I have to remind them to bend their pinky and to not splint their pinky, of course. But those little arcs of the good banana keep the bow in its proper alignment. One more tip for spiccato: if you will do nothing else but watch your tip and try to keep your tip in a 3-inch circle. Don't let it wander outside of a spot this big on your wall. This wall is good because it's a dark background. And just watch your tip. Oops. It's obvious. If your tip wanders, you did something wrong. One other thing. When you're doing spiccato, if your rear end is swinging, you're doing something wrong. Your rear end is trying to balance out an imbalance. Your rear end will swing if you're tightening up or doing something that's out of balance with your spiccato. So that's a good sign that you might need to employ micro bananas. Okay, so in summary, the concept of good banana versus bad banana helps us with straight bow, overall bow control, maintaining a sounding point, because if you're doing bad bananas, you're also gonna lose your sounding point. So doing good bananas really helps you to laser focus onto one sounding point. You can apply it to spiccato work, which I demonstrated using micro bananas and watching the tip of the bow with your eyes. And keep in mind, you gotta keep a flexible wrist and a bent pinky. Okay, so that's it. I hope that this video was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.